What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another video here with the AFC North Division breakdown with a very special guest.
Hi, I'm the special guest. No, I'm just playing. I am Tiernan. I am your favorite Ravens fan, I can tell. And yeah, ready to get this AFC North Division breakdown with Yemo. Let's go.
Yeah. All right, looking at how the division performed last season, the Baltimore Ravens won the division with a record of 12-5. They were the 3 seed in the AFC and lost in the divisional round of the playoffs. The Steelers also made the playoffs with a record of 10-7, being the 6th seed and lost in the wild card round. And then the Bengals and Browns both missed the playoffs, going 9-8 and 3-14. Diving into the individual team analyses, we're starting with Tiernan's favorite team. So I have my rankings here, but I'm gonna let him take the lead on this one. What do we think? What did I do right? What did I do wrong?
Yeah, sure. First couple of things I'm looking at, you got quarterback number 2.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a wild guess and say that Josh Allen maybe won.
I think I still have Mahomes at 1. I'm not taking.
All right,
I'm
yeah,
looking
that's
at
fair.
the broad sample size. I think the top.
He wins
4
games. He
really
may
go
have not
hand
had better stats. Yeah. But that's fine. I'm fine with Lamar as long as he's top 4 somewhere in there. That's fine by me.
Yeah.
Wide receivers, I think they're pretty underrated, but in terms of stats, I think you have them in a good spot. Front 7 though, yikes! What happened there?
Yeah, I mean, I think just my main concern is you don't have like a big time edge rusher, and yeah, there's Kyle Van Noy, but I'm not totally sold on him. I think there's definitely a lot of potential with Mike Green, but I don't want to overrate the rookies too much as of now.
Yeah,
Obviously, your linebacker core is great with Roquan Smith, Trenton Simpson solid as well, and Nnamdi Madubuike on the interior defensive line is good. But I think overall, just the edge position is my main concern there.
No, yeah, that makes sense. I'm ready to see Mike Green break out. I think he's been pretty good in practice, so and in preseason even he's been very good. So I'm ready to see him. What a steal that was! Come and get him at the second round.
Yeah, that was definitely great value.
I was so happy when we got that. I'd say the secondary is third, but I think speaking as a Ravens fan, they still got stuff to prove.
That's fair.
I'd actually say that might be a little high because even though the Ravens have like a stacked secondary on paper, they always struggle in the first couple of games to find their footing. So we'll see what happens there. But I think they got a lot of talent. I think they just got to play together. And yeah, I mean, other than that, I think everything's pretty accurate. Tight end, I might put them a bit higher. They got depth at tight end, so I maybe move them up a little bit. But I mean, yeah, they're a good team.
Yeah, I think they definitely are one of the powerhouses. I've been working on my first iteration of the power rankings, and I will exclusive sneak preview. I have moved them up to 2 to start the season over the Lions, who I had previously at 2. I do think this is one of the most stacked rosters in the league. Really well rounded. Even the weak spots, it's not really that bad. The front 7 is not a bad unit, and the wide receivers, like you said, it's still a solid group. They're just really, I think, lacking the main wide receiver one, but there's nothing wrong with Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, DeAndre Hopkins. So
yeah, we'll see how D-Hop plays, but I think the main goal this season is to win in the playoffs. I think that's what every Ravens fan is looking for.
Hopefully. Moving on to the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's as usual with the Steelers. It feels like they're going to be kind of underwhelming on offense, really good on defense, and probably going to finish about average.
Yeah, this looks great here. I love what you have here.
Yeah, going through the individual positions, Aaron Rodgers at this point, I think you can do worse. You can definitely do better. I don't think he's going to be that great. If he stays healthy, I think he can be a game manager, solid veteran presence, but I don't know how many games he's going to go out and win for the Steelers. I think it's going to be mostly the defense going to be winning a lot of games. So I'm not too thrilled about the Aaron Rodgers era in Pittsburgh. Running back, there's potential there with Caleb Johnson, but not too hyped. Jalen Warren just got extended today, but not doing a whole lot for me there. I think the run game's going to be subpar. Maybe they can pick it up. Wide receivers, you got DK Metcalf. Not really anybody else that's too exciting. You hope maybe Roman Wilson can have a breakout season. Calvin Austin is there. You just got to hope that Aaron Rodgers to DK Metcalf and establish some sort of connection. But it feels like kind of a lateral move from George Pickens to DK Metcalf, and that wasn't like it was an explosive offense with George Pickens. Tight end group, I think, is solid. I think trading for Jonnu Smith is a weird move. Obviously, he's good, and obviously Arthur Smith likes his guy, but Pat Fryermuth, I think, was already solid, so now you got two solid tight ends, so that might help make up for the lack of depth at receiver. Um, but overall, I think the unit is still about average. Good depth, but no real high end talent. Offensive line is a little concerning, and in an offense that I already think is going to struggle, that's definitely not a great sign. And then the defense, as usual, I think is going to be elite. The front seven is, I think, the best in the league. T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith are probably the best edge duo in the league. Cam Hayward and then Keanu Benton and Derek Harmon is a really great interior defensive line. And then Patrick Queen and Peyton Wilson, you hope can continue to develop, is really solid at linebacker. And then the secondary, bringing in Darius Slay and Jalen Ramsey, already have Joey Porter Jr. The corners are great. Safeties, Juan Thornhill, Deshaun Elliott are not as great, but overall, I think it's still a really good unit. I do think it's going to be subpar offense, great defense. Mike Tomlin will probably have another 9-win season, and maybe they can sneak into the playoffs again, but I don't think they're really going that far.
Yeah, I think subpar offense might be giving them a little too much.
That's fair.
As I said earlier, I love what you got here, especially seeing it as the Steelers, because they are, we'll just say they're my favorite team for now. In terms of the quarterback, man, when Aaron Rodgers got traded to the Steelers, I couldn't be happier. I mean, that's going to be so much fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
I've been saying maybe I'll put on the Steelers game in the background of every week just so I can watch Aaron Rodgers play. Because man, that's going to be fun to watch as a Ravens fan.
Oh yeah.
I think the running backs you can give a little more slack. I think Caleb Johnson could be pretty good, especially with their offensive line's pretty bad, but I mean, I think he'll be pretty good. He was pretty good in college, so I imagine he'll do pretty well. Wide receivers, yeah, they really got nobody but Metcalf. Calvin Austin's pretty sneaky though. He usually does well. Very sneaky wide receiver. So yeah, I could give him a little slack there. Tight end, I'd say they're pretty good. They have good depth. That even their third guy, Washington, he's still on the team, right?
I do love Darnell Washington. I would love them to get him.
He's like 6'8", right?
Yeah, he's huge, like 6'7".
Yeah. So, okay. But yeah, no, he's. I think they do have a little more depth in tight end, which I think would bump them up a few spots. Yeah, their O line is garbage, which is nice, and their defense is always good. That kind of what keeps the Steelers in it. Like all of last season, they were scoring what. Actually, no, Russ was doing pretty well, but their defense wins them games. It's not their offense. So, TJ Watt's still underrated. I don't know why people don't give him more credit. It's always Myles Garrett this, Aiden Hutchinson that. TJ Watt's still very good, especially playing against him twice. It's not fun. Let me say that.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a rough go against the Steelers defense every time.
I'm glad they got rid of Minka though. I think that was nice. He's pretty scary, and I think Jalen Ramsey, he's also scary, but I think Minka Fitzpatrick is a little more in tune, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So. And I just thought that was a weird trade, considering the Steelers were already relatively strong at corner with Slay and Joey Porter Jr. And it felt like trading away a safety for a corner was making their worst part of the secondary worse and their better part of the secondary better, whereas they were more well-rounded before. It was a weird trade.
Yeah, I agree.
I didn't hate it either way. It just seemed strange.
Yeah, I think Joey Porter Jr. is pretty nice. He's always good. But yeah, putting him at cornerback too, I don't know. I would have kept Minka if I were him.
Yeah, very fair. All right, we ready to move on to the next team?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go with the Cincinnati Bengals. Kind of the opposite of the Steelers. Really, really good offense, and I don't know if there is another side of the ball. There's been a lot of news going on with the Bengals this offseason, and it's kind of mostly resolved. Starting at quarterback, Joe Burrow, he's in that top 4. I have him at 4 for now. Obviously, I think can really go anywhere in that top 4. He's going to help them stay in basically any game they're playing in. Running back, I have him ranked at 19. I honestly think they could even be higher than that. I'm a big Chase Brown guy. I think he can, have even more of a breakout season. if they do utilize the run game, obviously the pass game is elite, but I think that's a solid option as well. The wide receiver core, I think, is the best in the league. I think Jamar Chase is right there with Justin Jefferson as the best wide receiver in the league. T. Higgins is a phenomenal number two. I don't hate Andre Yoshivas at three either, but really those top two guys are just a monster duo. At tight end, you got Mike Gesicki, brought in Noah Fant. It's okay. You can definitely do worse than that, but it's not moving the needle for me too much. The offensive line, I still think, is going to be a problem, and it's real unfortunate because this is a team that's definitely going to rely a lot on their offense, and I think their offense is going to be fine, but you would like that to be a little stronger. And then the defense, I think, is kind of a mess. You did manage to get Trey Hendrickson to stay. They didn't extend him; they just gave him more money for this year, so it's a weird move. But he'll be playing, and obviously he was phenomenal last season, the sack leader. But we've seen him be the sack leader and be phenomenal, and the defense was still really, really bad and losing them a ton of games. So hopefully it can be better. You got Shamar Stewart as well. The secondary, I think, is just atrocious, though. It's the defense is really concerning again. I feel like they didn't do a ton to address it as an issue, and obviously it kept them out of the playoffs last year, and that was with historic years for Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. So you got to hope it doesn't happen again. I do think they're going to be a good team. I do think they probably will get back in the playoffs this year, but the defense is definitely a concern.
Yeah, no, the Bengals are definitely one of the best offenses in the NFL. I think, yeah, Joe Burrow's obviously in that top four group of the AFC quarterbacks. They're always going to be top four, whatever order you put them in. I'd say running back, I think they could lean on their running game a bit more. I think Chase Brown in his second year could be doing pretty good. I think teams are going to go against them trying to think, oh, let me, try to lock up the pass game. So let me send everybody back. And that gives Chase Brown a lot of room to run. So I think that could be good. Obviously, the wide receiver core is, no one has a better wide receiver core than that. I think T. Higgins could be a top 10 wide receiver. If he was wide receiver one on any other team. He's great. Jamar Chase puts up like 200 against the Ravens every game. So
No, you love that.
Nothing needs to be said there. No, I hate it. It's so awful. But they don't have a defense. They really don't. You might as well just not put anybody out there. Keep them on the bench from getting tired, But yeah, no, their defense is atrocious. Trey Hendrickson's nice. It's the only bright spot on that team. Yeah, their offensive line's not great. I think I'd put them under the Steelers in offensive line. I think the Steelers have a little bit better offensive line than the Bengals. Maybe they buffed it up and I didn't see. I don't know. But yeah, no, I definitely think their offense carries them, and we'll have to see what happens this year because I think teams are going to start to, do their best at defending the pass game, and so it kind of depends on that rush game, and maybe you could slow the game down a bit with your defense.
Yeah, I think you make a great point there, especially, we're seeing the Steelers and Ravens, who we already talked about, really building up their secondary this offseason, and that is probably to counter the Bengals. So if they're able to lean on that run game more in those situations, it's really going to make their offense even more unstoppable than it already is.
Yeah.
All right, and last but maybe least, the Cleveland Browns. I think that this team, I don't want to say is like a good quarterback away because there's some issues, but I think that overall the roster talent, if you ignore quarterback, is not the worst. But yeah, starting with quarterback, I think this is probably the worst quarterback situation in the NFL other than the Saints, and that's not good company to be in. The Colts down there as well. It's not great. Joe Flacco is starting the season. I think that was kind of to be expected. That's your veteran guy, and you'll bring in the young guys later. But Dylan Gabriel, Shadur Sanders, I don't have a ton of optimism for either of them. Obviously, I know there's a ton of narratives around Shadur going both ways. Preseason was kind of underwhelming. And yeah, Dylan Gabriel I don't think is going to be an NFL starting quarterback. So overall, I think that no matter who ends up starting for the Browns at quarterback at any point this season, I do think the young guys will get a chance at some point. I think it's going to be bad. Running back, you have Jerome Ford, who's solid. You drafted two guys in Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson. Judkins right now still has not signed with the team, which is definitely concerning. There have been reports that they're going to try and get that done before week one, but it's obviously not a good sign when, the season starts in 3 days and your rookie running back has not been signed. So hopefully, if he does sign, he's able to, have a nice season. Otherwise, maybe Dylan Sampson and Jerome Ford is just kind of a whatever back. So overall, there's definitely concerns there, but maybe some upside. The wide receiver core, I think, is definitely one of the worst in the league. They really only have one guy, and it's Jerry Jeudy. And no hate to Jerry Jeudy, but I think he's more suited as a wide receiver too. And the depth behind him, Cedric Tillman's all right. Jamari Thrash at wide receiver 3 is definitely not ideal. Your best weapon on offense is definitely David Njoku at tight end, who I actually think is a um, pretty solid player. I think he's a top 8 tight end in the league. So I think he's going to definitely get a lot of targets. Him and Jeudy are going to really be what this offense runs through. But overall, I think the offense is going to be not that good. Offensive line, I think it's solid. I think it's definitely not as good as it once was. A lot of, talented players who are kind of coming out of their prime. So it's just kind of a whatever unit for me. I don't think it's going to make them a lot worse, but I don't know if it's going to be really elevating. And then the defense, I think, is going to be solid. Obviously, the defensive line is great. Myles Garrett, we know, is a monster. Drafted Mason Graham in the first round. He's probably going to be pretty solid. Also, in that front seven, Carson Swessinger, who you drafted at the top of the second round, I believe, should be a solid option there. And then the secondary, Denzel Ward is obviously a great corner. He feels like he's pretty underrated. A lot of people don't talk about Denzel Ward as one of the better corners in the league, but he is and has been. Aside from that, Greg Newsome is there. Safeties are whatever with Grant Delpit and Ronnie Hickman. I think overall the defense is definitely going to be the bright spot of this team. The offense I have a lot of worries about. Just that quarterback room is a mess. So I think the Browns are definitely going to be finishing near the bottom of the league once again this year.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. The Browns have kind of got to that spot with me, even though they're in, the division. Like I'm starting to like them because they're bad. You're starting to feel bad for them. It's like I kind of root for this team to do good. And they have a pretty bright future. I mean, that trade for, I mean, you're giving up Travis Hunter for a couple of first round draft picks from the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are known to be pretty bad. I mean, it's not awful. But right now it is, I'd say. Yeah, they have no quarterback. They got a 40-year-old Joe, 41 maybe. I don't know how old he is.
He's old.
He's old.
I just know that.
I love him though. I love Joe. I really want to see him play. But yeah, no, I mean, if it does come down to Flacco and Njoku, I mean that was a good connection we saw a couple of years ago when he was on the Browns. So I'd like to see that again. Maybe Njoku can get some. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you never know what happens with Joe Flacco. So I'd say the quarterback situation, yeah, it's a little questionable. Sorry, it's very questionable. I don't know who the quarterback's going to be. Running back, yeah, I think if Quinshon Judkins signs, then it could be pretty good. But for right now, it's again, what are they doing there? Wide receivers, you got Jerry Jeudy. That's it. I don't even know who that third guy you said was. Never heard of him.
I think he was a day 3 pick in the draft. Yeah, Jamari Thrash. Maybe
I've never heard of him. I like Njoku at 8, but what depth do they have behind that? Do they have anyone else?
They drafted Harold Fannin Jr. I think round 3 maybe. I don't know how much he's going to play, but I think I don't know a ton, but I think general consensus is he's a solid backup option and young, so there's hopefully potential there.
Yeah, I mean, if I was the Browns, I'd try to lean on my running game if Judkins does sign.
Yeah.
So getting another tight end does help with that, so that makes sense. But yeah, if I were the Browns, I would not use my quarterback too much on my wide receivers because they don't really have much. Offensive line's pretty middle of the road. They're all old, as you said.
Yeah.
They can still do the job though. They're all solid. They're all veterans. They know what they're doing, so they get the job done.
Yeah.
And then yeah, the front seven. I mean, you got Mason Graham and Myles Garrett. That's a solid duo. Obviously, Mason Graham hasn't played a snap, but he's picked 5th, so you got to imagine he's going to be pretty good. And then yeah, you were saying Denzel Ward's underrated. I completely agree. I think he's a very, very good safety, or not safety, corner. I think he's maybe top. I'd say like top 6 or top 5. He's pretty good. He's pretty underrated. So other than that, though, they don't have too much. there's some other good people. But, yeah, no, I think 30th is fair. The Browns are never good, right? But I think in the next coming years they could, you know, start to see some good draft picks, and then things will start falling in place for them. But I think this is another filler year of the Browns doing pretty bad. But you root for them. I hope they do well.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. It's going to be a rough year, but I think the future might be bright. So, Browns fans, if you want to have optimism, I know that's probably not something Browns fans are used to, but maybe. I will give you a fair warning. Rooting for a team in your division just because they're bad and you think they could be fun. I did that with the Commanders last year, and now I have to worry
Mm,
about the Commanders every year. So just watch
yeah,
out.
that's
It
pretty
might come
valid.
back to
Commanders
bite
are
me.
another one of my favorite teams. They're so great.
All right, looking at my projections for each team, you can give your input as well. I will say the estimated win total. This is not a record prediction. This is how many wins I think they could get. So Ravens anywhere from 11 wins to 14 wins, not 11 and 14, because that's not possible. Just clarify that. Um, but yeah, I think Ravens anywhere between 11 and 14 wins. I do think they will win the division and make the playoffs. I think the Bengals are probably the second best team. Probably gonna be double digit wins. I'd find it hard to believe they missed the playoffs 2 years in a row. Steelers are probably going to be floating around 9, 10 wins, probably third in the division. And then Browns, I think, are definitely at the bottom. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the stat here is. You got the Ravens going 11 and 14. Last time I checked, I think there was 17.
Yeah,
Nuts, but
I think the league is gonna have the Ravens play some extra games this year.
yeah, that makes sense. They got some games down in London, San Paulo. Maybe they'll go like cross world, playing China. You never know. Um, yeah, I'd say 11 and 14 or 11 to 14 wins. I think that's pretty pretty substantial amount of wins. Usually the Ravens like to drop a few games just for fun against
I did think
someone as
about
bad as
that.
the Browns. I know. I think we play the Jets maybe this year. I don't know. They drop a lot of easy wins sometimes, so I think 14 is definitely very very high. I'd maybe drop that a little.
Yeah, that's like a very high ceiling. But I think the roster talent is there. But I do think the Bengals
Yeah,
and Steelers at the very least are two penciled in losses already, just because it.
yeah. I mean, it's a tough game. I don't know about the Bengals. We swept the Bengals a lot. The Browns are usually we split with the Browns because we always throw one away.
Yeah.
We've been locking up the Bengals. Steelers are always a split. Um, but I think the playoffs. If they don't make the playoffs, I think the city of Baltimore is probably going to turn into anarchy. Um,
Yeah, I think
so
there's no
I
chance.
but there's no way they don't, right?
Barring
Knock
a
on
like
wood.
a significant injury, which I'm not going to account in a projection, I think there's no chance they miss.
Yeah. Um, Steelers. I always hate when the Steelers get in the playoffs. They're scary. I know we beat them last year in the wild card, but I never like going against them in the playoffs. Because it's just a divisional game, man. It's a toss up. Every single divisional game you play is a toss up. So um,
Yeah.
I think if the Steelers make it in the playoffs, I don't think they'll go far, even if it is a divisional matchup in the wild card. Um, just because I think they got a lot of issues. They do. And if Aaron Rodgers takes them to 10 wins, man, I'll be darned. But I think 35 is a good placement for them. I think the Bengals, yeah, I think they're gonna reclaim another double digit win column for them. I
Yeah.
think I think we'll see the reemergence of the Bengals offense being top three offense in the NFL, no doubt.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're always scary when they get to the playoffs because they can actually beat the Chiefs. So
Yeah, they're like
maybe
them and the Eagles, the only ones.
yeah, it's tragic. So if they get in the playoffs, I could see them going far. Definitely, Joe Burrow is ice cold when he's in the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
No, he's nasty. So yeah, the Browns we talked about. Yeah, they're not great, but
Yeah. Honestly, for the Browns, just finish
I don't see it.
worse to get a higher draft pick at this point. Future's
Yeah,
bright.
and I mean,
Make it brighter.
you got a ton of solid draft picks. I would maybe MLB's going into postseason. You know, I don't know how well the Guardians are doing, but maybe tune into some Guardians games.
Yeah. Just switch sports for a year, Cleveland.
Yeah, hey, Cleveland basketball is doing great. I mean, come on. They got a bright future in Cleveland for basketball, and they already won a championship in 2016. But hey, you got a good basketball team. You got a, I think, solid baseball team. You'll get there in football, but right now it's not there yet.
Very fair, very fair. Alrighty, well, I think that's pretty much all we have to say. If you have any closing remarks, go ahead, feel free. But yeah, thanks for coming on, and thank you everyone for watching. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I'll leave some closing remarks. I think that picture of T.J. Watt scares me, even though he's not playing football. I just feel it through the screen. His presence it scares me as a Ravens fan.
Looks like Lamar's running
Um,
from him already.
yeah, I mean that's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to get out the pocket, start running. Um, but yeah, I think the Ravens will take it home, take the division home. But it'll be close. I mean, the Bengals will put up a good fight. And yeah, I hope the Steelers don't make the playoffs.
All right. Well, yeah, I agree with that. I think Ravens are definitely a lock. Bengals should be more competitive. Steelers are a maybe, and Browns. There's
And I
always
can't wait to watch Aaron Rodgers. It's going to be so much fun.
I heard he's pretty good at this game.
Yeah, I did too. About what 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I heard he was pretty good back then. We'll see how he is.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the channel. And yeah, this is the last video
Thank you
in
for having
the
me.
division breakdown series. So tune in for predictions and power rankings coming later this week.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
All right. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.